Bill Etheridge, UKIP MEP for the West Midlands. With Nigel Farage's resignation, who do you feel is best placed to lead UKIP?
There's a very strong field of candidates who are putting forward. Friends of mine, colleagues who I respect. I'm not entirely sure at the moment that there are any that would completely represent my point of view, and as such I'm currently taking soundings and looking into whether or not it would be an idea for me to go forward myself, and at the moment I'm extremely encouraged by what's coming back.
What do you stand for? What are your policies and how do they differ from some of the other candidates?
I cannot stand the urge in British politics to always speak about this mythical centre ground. I believe that the British people want to have a clear choice. You've heard the phrase clear blue water, I say clear purple water. An optimistic, forward-looking, bright chance for the British people to have more social mobility, the working classes to have the opportunity to be aspirational and to work their way out of the situation they're in. So I think we can afford a radical new set of policies that really excite people and get people turned on by politics again. We've just had Brexit and people say, well, what's the plan? Well, I think we can lay out a plan. I think we can actually say, here is a bright future for this country with less state interference, still the safety net, still the NHS, still the things we hold and treasure dear, but people having more personal freedom to thrive under their own merits, and of course better education for all, so that we can really get the people who start maybe disadvantaged, but under their own merit they can work their way to the top.
What are then your kind of flagship points of view that are different? What would you lay out as being significant as policies at your core?
Well, I certainly want to take those on lower tax completely out of taxation if possible. That would be a key thing. I know there have been movements that way already, but I'm looking for that. I'm looking for, in terms of education, I don't want to constantly be part of this, let's change the way we do our exam system, but let's look at the way the schools actually are run. Let's suggest that there might be an opportunity to bring in for-profit schools. Let's look at ways of doing this that can actually give the very best practice to really boost up people for all, from the poorest and most disadvantaged, free education, but maybe we can bring in some interesting new ways of doing it. And of course, strong defence. I think it's vital that this country is above the 2% minimum. We need to start rebuilding and looking at ourselves as a sovereign nation state again, and I think there's a big opportunity for us to be a power in the world again.
You've described yourself as being, as other candidates, being too far to the left and you're to the right of them. Just explain what you mean by that.
I think it's about this fear of being controversial, and that's one thing that could never be labelled at me. I think people need to understand that the public don't want more bland, grey men in grey suits saying the same old thing, the same old sound bites, just because they don't want to offend anyone. Let's say the truth, let's talk straight, say what we mean what we say. And this movement to the left, it's more of a centrist thing, it's more of a let's not move out of this box of expectation. I say, let's increase the expectation, let's change people's opinions, let's win the arguments to move the centre ground to where we want it to be, rather than chasing after it.
In what way then are you say bold and radical? In what ways are you bold and radical? In what ways do you, in what fields do you express that point of view?
Well, I want a complete review of our policies as a party going forward to start off with, and I want them to be firmly entrenched into the smaller state, lower taxation. I want them to be business friendly. We've got a great chance now to rid ourselves of regulations that have been holding us back. Let's get there, let's deal with the Commonwealth now, let's have a proper set of trade deals with the Commonwealth. Let's not talk about these things anymore, let's get active, and also, as I said, let's look at education, ways we can improve it, because education is a key to social mobility. And coming from a background myself, I've been a working class lad in Wolverhampton, went to a state school where more people actually went to prison than university. What kind of chance and start in life is that for people? Let's improve the status of education so that it's still free, but kids from ordinary backgrounds get a real chance, and we can do this by working with more market-orientated forces whilst keeping it free at the point of delivery. It's crucial that we give people something fresh to look at. It's crucial we stop thinking of the state as God. The state is our servant, and it's there to help us in times of need. The rest of the time we should get the heck out of the way and let us get on with making money and improving our lives.
politics is often considered to be very London-centric. As a Midlander, what would your leadership, if you were to go for leader, represent in terms of what it means for the Midlands?
Common sense, working class ideals. London is part of the UK, and of course, we appeal to the people of London as well. But the strong growth areas for UKIP are the Midlands and the North, the post-industrial lands, and the places where Labour have over generations let down our people. The time is here now for us to say there's an alternative. Working class people aren't socialists. Working class people aren't dying to be dependent on the state because they're lazy or want to sit there and be looked after. Working class people have got the best values in this country. They've got the strongest work ethic. All they need is for that to be unleashed, to be given an opportunity. And what we can do now as the party that represents the working class and has the most working class as a proportion, we can take that view forward. It's not to the detriment of anyone else. Social mobility is good. If we get wealth being created and people doing well for themselves and moving upwards in our society, it'll be a better place for all of us.
UKIP is at, I think it's fair to say, a turning point. Nigel Farage has been such a dominant figure in the party. With him gone, and of course the referendum achieved, that really is what the name says, the party says. So with that out the way, you've got the UKIP is going to have to stand for something else, isn't it? And it's a kind of do or die moment for the party.
UKIP never meant to me the United Kingdom Independence Party. UKIP in itself is something that sums up something different in politics. I didn't join because of the EU. The EU just gets in the way of all the things that we can actually do constructively. Now the EU, hopefully, if Mrs May is true to what the people have asked for, should be something we're getting out of the way. We can now start to make real constructive change, and the British people want an alternative. The old three parties are all the same. No matter, even when they have a radical like Corbyn in charge of Labour, they try to bring him down. They cannot bear the thought of getting outside of their little box of comfort. Time for some radical new ideas, appealing to all of the people of the country and saying, come on, let's have some imagination. We're free peoples, let's really go for it. And I think it'll capture people's imagination if we do it right.
You're gathering support for your leadership bid then. How do you rate your chances, and who have you got supporting you so far?
I'm an underdog. Absolutely, I'm an underdog. I'm a backbencher, not a spokesman of any sort. But I believe I'm someone who stands for certain principles which are respected by my colleagues. My chances, let's see what the electorate say. I think it would be a very long shot, but hey, you never know, we're going to give it a good go. And as for who's with me, well, we'll be unveiling that in the next few days. I don't want to betray any confidences as yet, but let's put it this way, I've been really pleasantly surprised, honoured actually, and quite touched by the amount of support I've had from people I genuinely respect. So, we shall see how it goes, but, this isn't over, and certainly not over until the final vote's counted. Let's see about that.